What comes to your mind when we talk about personality development? Maybe dressing well, having a good body, speaking well, good body language, being confident. And yes, all of these things matter a lot because we live in a world where people often form their first impression of you before you have even spoken. So, your grooming matters, your clothes do matter, your posture matters, your physical fitness matters. But if you think that personality development is only about what people can see from the outside, then my dear friend, you're missing a very big part of it because your personality isn't just how you look, it is how you think, how you feel, how you respond, and what you stand for. So, if you're somebody who wants to develop an overall personality, build confidence, create a magnetic aura, and become a stronger version of yourself, I want you to focus on four dimensions. Number one, physical. Number two, mental. Number three, emotional. And number four, which most people completely ignore, spiritual. And let me explain each one of them to you in detail. Let's start with the most visible aspect of a human being, that is your physical self. Ask yourself, am I healthy? Do I take care of my body? Do I have the energy to get through my daily life? How do I carry myself? Physical development is not about looking like somebody else. It's about taking care of the body that you have. Exercise regularly. And even if you are someone with a physical disability or a limitation, you can still find forms of movement appropriate for you, ideally with guidance from a qualified professional. Work on your posture, eat nutritious food, stay hydrated because water is very important, and sleep properly. And make sure that you're getting the nutrients your body needs. Don't just take supplements randomly because somebody on the internet told you to. Get the blood work done and find out the nutrients which you require. And taking care of your physical self also affects your mental state. So, when you're moving your body, you're sleeping well, you're having a better physical energy, it can influence how you feel and how effectively you handle your day. So, yes, the physical aspect matters, but don't stop there because you can have a great exterior and still have a very chaotic interior. Which brings me to the second dimension of personality development, that is mental. Your mental self is about how you think. How do you process information? How do you solve your day to day problems? How flexible are your thoughts? Can you look at a situation from somebody else's perspective? Are you open to different opinions? Can you handle uncertainty? Can you think before you react in any situation? And one of the most important things you can do for your mental development is train your mind. Read, learn, have conversations with people who think differently from you because it's like training your brain. Challenge your existing beliefs and stop consuming information mindlessly all day. Learn to question your own thoughts. One of my boss in the Indian army used to say that dimag mein bhi jung lagta hai, because just because your thought enters your mind doesn't mean that it's a fact. Ask yourself, is this actually true? Is there another way of looking at this? This is how you develop mental flexibility. And this is especially important when we talk about communication and public speaking. Whenever I coach people for public speaking, confidence, or communication, one thing I notice is that people often think it's all about your body language. How should I stand? What should I wear? How should I speak? Give me the perfect script. It's like that. But imagine you have prepared a speech perfectly. You know every single word. You have you have rehearsed it 10 times. And then somebody in the audience asks you a question that you weren't expecting. Maybe it's difficult, or the question comes out to be very challenging, or even a little mean. Now your script cannot save you. At that moment, what will save you? Your ability to think, your mental flexibility, your ability to stay present, process the question, and formulate a response at then and there. That's why personality development is not just about learning what to say, it's about developing the mind that can figure out what to say when you don't know what to say. This brings me to the third aspect of personality development, that is the emotional aspect. And this is where people often get confused. They say, what's the difference between mental and emotional aspect? Aren't emotions also created in the mind? Well, they are connected, but they are not the same. Your mental aspect is largely about how you think. Your emotional aspect is about how you understand, experience, and regulate what you feel. So let's say somebody criticizes you. Your mind may think that's unfair, that's so mean. But emotionally, you may feel angry, you may feel embarrassed in that situation, you may feel rejected, surprised, shocked. And personality development means learning to create a little space between what happens and how you respond. Anyone can be calm when everything is going their way. The real test is how do you behave when you're irritated? What happens when somebody disagrees with you? What happens when somebody is mean with you? Can you communicate anger without becoming aggressive? Can you disagree without disrespecting somebody? Can you say no without becoming rude or without feeling guilty? That's called emotional maturity. And you can build it by learning to pause before reacting. Breathe. Name what you're feeling, the name of the feeling. Like, I'm angry. Right now, I'm feeling disappointed. I'm feeling rejected. And then ask yourself, what do I want to do with this particular emotion? Breathing exercises, mindfulness, meditation, journaling, and healthy conversations can help you develop that pause between the feeling and the reaction. And that pause is really, really powerful. And that brings me to the fourth aspect of personality development, that is called the spiritual aspect, the one most people ignore, your spiritual self. And before you tell me that I'm not religious, that's completely okay. Spirituality doesn't necessarily mean religion. You can be religious, you can be an atheist, you can have completely different belief from me. The spiritual aspect is about your relationship with yourself, with life at large, with your values, with something larger than your immediate ego. It's about asking, what do I exactly stand for? What gives my life meaning? What really matters to me? For some people, spirituality may mean doing prayers, meditation. For somebody else, it may mean spending time with the nature. It could be gratitude, reflection, reading spiritual texts, serving others, or simply spending quiet time with yourself. The purpose is to become grounded. Because when life doesn't go according to plans, your spiritual foundation can give you perspective. You may fail in life. There will be circumstances where you will be rejected. You may not get the recognition you expected. Your plans may fail, but you can still tell yourself, this is a difficult moment, but this moment is not my entire life. And when you become grounded within yourself, you don't need to constantly prove yourself to everybody. You don't need everyone's approval in that circumstance. You don't need to win every argument which is happening. And ironically, when you stop desperately trying to prove yourself, you become even more powerful. So now comes the question, how do you build these four dimensions in your life? Some of you might be very curious to know, okay, I understand that four aspects needs to be built up, but how do I actually build them? So let's make it very simple. When it's about physical personality development, the rule is simple: move your body every day, take care of your posture, eat nutritious food, sleep properly, stay hydrated, and take care of your health. For mental development, read, learn something new, challenge your assumptions, have conversations with people who think differently, and question your own thoughts instead of believing everything your mind tells you. For emotional development, learn to pause, breathe, identify what you're feeling, journal, practice mindfulness or meditation, and most importantly, learn to respond instead of simply reacting. And spiritually, pray if prayers is meaningful to you. Meditate, spend time in nature, be thankful, reflect on your own values, and spend some quiet time with yourself. And then there's one practice I want you to add to all four: do an energy audit. I do it for myself too. Ask yourself after every 15 days or 1 month that physically, what is giving me energy and what is draining my body? Mentally, what am I consuming and what am I feeding my mind? Emotionally, which people, situation, or patterns are constantly disturbing my emotional balance? And spiritually, what is keeping me grounded and connected to what actually matters to me? Because you need to regularly check where you're investing your energy. That's why I call it an energy audit. So, if you are working on personality development, don't just ask, how do I look? Ask yourself, how do I think? How do I feel? How do I respond? And what do I stand for? Because you may look perfectly amazing from the outside, but if your inside is chaotic, it will show even on your outside by the way you speak, by the way you act, respond, and react in the situations. Your personality is not created when you walk into a room. It is created by everything you have been doing before you walked into that room. The way you take care of your body when nobody is watching, the way you train your mind when nobody is watching, the way you regulate your emotions, and the values you choose to live by no matter what. And when these four dimensions start working together, something beautiful is going to happen. You don't have to constantly perform confidence. You will start feeling grounded. There will be a clarity of thoughts, not perfection, not expensive clothes alone, not a rehearsed personality, but alignment between who you are on the inside and how you show up on the outside. So don't try to become somebody else. Work on these four dimensions: physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. And I guarantee you, your true personality will develop. And it will not be about just creating a new you, it will be about becoming a stronger, more balanced, and more authentic version of the person you already are. And once you realize that, that's the time you will start living with power, and eventually you will speak with power. I'll see you in the next video. Jai Hind, everyone. Namaste.